The Snowman's Magical Adventure. Once upon a time, in a small village covered in a soft, fluffy blanket of snow, a group of children built a snowman in the middle of a field. This wasn't just any snowman. It was the tallest snowman they'd ever made. His body was made of 3 big snowballs stacked on top of each other, round and shiny. His eyes were made of shiny black pebbles, and a long orange carrot was his nose. They gave him a wide smile made of tiny stones, a bright red scarf that danced in the wind, and an old black hat. But there was something extra special about this snowman. The children placed a sparkly blue button on his chest, a button they found hidden under the snow earlier that day. What they didn't know was that the button was magical. As night fell and the village grew quiet, the snowman suddenly came to life. His pebble eyes blinked, his carrot nose twitched, and he stretched his twig arms wide. The snowman smiled, happy to be alive. The button on his chest shimmered like a tiny star. The snowman's name was Frosty Jack. Even though he had just come to life, he already had a big heart and a curious mind. He wanted to explore the world beyond the field where he was built. The stars twinkled above, and the snowy ground sparkled as if it was calling to him. Frosty Jack looked around and noticed 2 friendly animals watching him from the nearby woods, a little bunny named Pippa and a red fox named Rusty. Pippa was small and fluffy, with soft white fur and bright blue eyes. She was playful and full of energy. Rusty had a sleek red coat, sharp ears, and a bushy tail. He was clever and liked to keep everyone safe. "Will you come with me?" Frosty Jack asked, his voice as gentle as the wind. Even though his words weren't spoken aloud, Pippa and Rusty seemed to understand him perfectly. They nodded and ran toward him. And so, the 3 friends began their magical nighttime adventure. First, they wandered into the forest, where tall pine trees stood like giant guardians. The branches were heavy with snow, and tiny icicles glittered in the moonlight. Frosty Jack marveled at how peaceful everything seemed. Pippa hopped ahead, leaving little paw prints in the snow. Rusty walked beside them, his sharp eyes watching for any trouble. As they walked, Frosty Jack noticed something shiny buried beneath a tree. It was a tiny golden bell. He picked it up with his twiggy hands, and when he shook it, the softest, sweetest chime echoed through the air. Suddenly, the snow around them started to shimmer and swirl. Before they knew it, Frosty Jack, Pippa, and Rusty were lifted into the air on a magical snow cloud. The cloud floated high above the trees, carrying them gently like a soft blanket. From up there they could see the entire village, the winding river that sparkled like silver, and even the distant mountains. Wow, Frosty Jack thought. He had never imagined the world was so big and beautiful. The snow cloud took them to a sparkling frozen pond, surrounded by glittering lights. Frosty Jack slid across the ice, his twig arms outstretched, laughing without making a sound. Pippa and Rusty joined in, skating and spinning in circles. The golden bell jingled in Frosty Jack's hand, and every time it rang, the lights around the pond grew brighter, as if they were sharing his joy. After a while, the snow cloud took them even farther. This time, it brought them to the top of a snowy hill. There they found a group of tiny snow creatures, no bigger than Frosty Jack's hand. The creatures had round, chubby faces and wore little snowflake crowns. They giggled and danced in the snow, inviting Frosty Jack and his friends to join them. The snow creatures taught Frosty Jack how to make snowflakes with his twig hands. Each snowflake he made was unique, with swirls and patterns that sparkled as they fell. Pippa and Rusty helped too, and soon the hill was covered in the most beautiful snowflakes anyone had ever seen. But as the night went on, Frosty Jack started to feel something new. The sparkly blue button on his chest began to fade a little, and he realized that his magic wouldn't last forever. He needed to return to his field before the sun came up. Frosty Jack thanked the snow creatures and waved goodbye. The snow cloud carried him, Pippa, and Rusty back to the field where his adventure had begun. The stars were starting to fade, and the first light of dawn peeked over the hills. As Frosty Jack stood in his spot, his pebble eyes grew soft. He was happy. He had seen so much, made new friends, and spread joy everywhere he went. Pippa nuzzled his snowy side, and Rusty gave a small wag of his tail. They promised to visit him every night to keep him company. When the sun rose, Frosty Jack became still again, his smile frozen in place. But in his heart, hidden behind the magical button, he knew he would always have his memories of the magical night. And so, Frosty Jack stood tall and proud, the happiest snowman in the village.